Have you ever noticed how self-care nowadays is almost the same as a sociopathic OCD list, a superhuman routine, another marketing product, or hashtag next eating disorder? Yeah, me too. There's nothing wrong with wanting to eat healthier, exercise, retreats, and massages, but let's not confuse rewards, hence the luxury of time and resources, with the true meaning of self-care. Self-care is the ability to maintain a balanced life and prevent mental disorders like anxiety, burnout, or depression. So if any of those training activities like waking up at 5 a.m., eating green smoothies, intermittent fasting, doing face yoga with magical stones as a form of living, start to feel like you are not enough and a failure by not achieving when everyone else seems to be achieving, it's time to stop. This video is exactly what I wish the older sister I never had would have told me. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea so we can have a little chat, because it will get personal. And if you stick around until the end, I have a little something for you to help your self-care journey. So without further ado, I want to share with you 6 self-care habits that will make you fall in love with the main character of your own story. Practice self-compassion. Honestly, I feel that we are our own worst enemy. Ever caught yourself saying, "I'm so stupid," or "that was so silly"? This is something we never say to someone we care about, but we constantly do it to ourselves. And this negative self-talk can be incredibly damaging. There was a time in my life that if I ran into a chair, I would apologize to the chair. Yeah. I'm not saying that self-care is about turning yourself into a narcissist that has zero compassion for the well-being of others, but if you're watching this, there is a good chance that you are being too demanding with yourself and you need to practice more self-compassion. And that, my friend, will not make you a selfish person, because if you're not okay with yourself, there is no way you can be good to other people. We need to acknowledge that as long as we are humans, we will make mistakes. Challenge that inner critic by speaking to yourself in a supportive and encouraging way, by choosing kind words, the same way you would do to a friend in your situation. And if it helps you gain confidence, say empowering mantras to yourself out loud.
You is good, you is kind, you is brave, you is smart, you is intelligent, and you is fucking amazing.
2. Be mindful. Honestly, only recent this expression started to make sense in my head. And I think part of it is because I only heard it in a context of very spiritual people until my therapist also started mentioning it to me. And in a different context rather than just feel your body and listen to your mind, which, by the way, it's good advice, but it's not enough, at least for me. Let's say that you're triggered by a conversation with your partner, friend, or family member. Usually when someone is triggered, they try to defend themselves, either by over-explaining, or by shutting down and going away, or screaming, or whatever the coping mechanism is. And why? Because we get back to our insecure inner child and start acting out of impulse and develop anxious behaviors. But if you're mindful, it's like you understand the situation as a third person in a conversation. And this is something very hard to do because we are human, we have emotions, and we have a past, aka triggers. And honestly, I still struggle with anxiety when I get triggered and replay the conversation or what happened over and over again in my mind. And as a consequence, I lose a lot of sleep because of it. But I'm also getting a lot better at it. And one of the things that really helped me is to slow down and physically schedule daily moments of calmness in my calendar. Because it's just like going to the gym. It's a muscle you have to practice over and over again for it to develop. So instead of entering a fight or flight mode, I have the ability to ask myself, okay, why am I feeling this way? What about the situation that is triggering me? Will this matter in 1 week, month, or year? And if so, how can I carry on with this conversation in a way where I'm not disrespectful to the other person nor to myself? And although I will always recommend you to find a therapist that challenges you towards your self-love journey, I don't think it's enough. That's why I am very proud to present today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is a go-to app for everything related to mindfulness. And trust me, I tried too many before. Aura is an all-in-one app for your well-being and sleep. Besides the thousands of meditations you can choose from, it also has life coaching, cognitive behavioral therapy, breathwork, yoga, music for focus, sound healing, ASMR, health coaches, and even podcasts. They work with experts from different backgrounds around the world to cover every possible scenario where you can feel triggered and that may bring that inner child to the surface. From work to love, friendships, parenthood, sleep, stress, focus, and so much more. And the more you use it, the better the suggestions they present you. There is one meditation in particular that I found that really helped me manage my anxiety and dealing with my inner child called Calm Your Racing Mind. So if you're also tired of sleepless nights and want to start your healing journey today, make sure to be one of the first 500 people to go to aurahealth.io/beaminimalista to get a complete free trial with Aura, plus an exclusive 25% off. Thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring this video. And speaking of sleepless nights, that brings me to the third tip, which is create enjoyable routines. In our busy lives, routines can sometimes feel mundane or repetitive and even like a task, instead of a source of comfort, stability, and joy. And by this, I don't mean you have to do face masks and bubble baths every day. Of course, they feel great, but they are a luxury that is unrealistic to maintain to most people. Instead, create easy routines that work for you and learn to enjoy the little luxuries life has to offer, like a warm shower, the comfort of your pajamas, the softness of your sheets, calm music, meditation, the smell of candles, a calm tea, or going to bed at a time that makes sense for your lifestyle. For example, I try waking up at 5 a.m. and I feel that there are a lot of benefits with it, but I feel a lot better when I go to sleep around midnight or 1 and wake up around 8 or 9. By the way, if you're curious about how my night and day routine looks like, let me know down in the comments with a moon or sun emoji and I will make a video about it. Routines are very personal, but there are a few things that are scientifically proven to have a good impact in your routine, like avoiding screens at least 1 hour before going to bed, or making your room a nice temperature, or making your room dark so that your circadian rhythm knows it's time to sleep. Expose yourself to natural light when you wake up. Not drink a lot of water before going to bed, otherwise you will pee. Yes, science. Make a to-do list for the next day so you can store your worries in a piece of paper instead of in your head. Move your body, whether that is through workout, a little walk, listening to a podcast, or walking your dogs in the morning. It goes a long way improving your mood for the rest of the day, especially if you do this before taking any caffeine. 4. Decluttering. Next up is decluttering. Keeping my space clean and organized helps me feel more at peace and less stressed. Have you ever heard about the silent to-do list? It's a concept that refers to the mental and emotional burden we carry from unfinished tasks and visual clutter in our environment. It's called silent because it's not an actual written list, but rather a collection of subconscious reminders and distractions that weigh us down throughout the day. For example, when you see a pile of laundry that needs to be folded, or dishes in the sink, or an unread book in your nightstand. Each of these items sends subtle signals to your brain that something still needs to be done. Even if you're not actively thinking about these tasks, they create like a background noise in your mind that contributes to feelings of stress, overwhelm, or guilt. And that just adds up to the day-to-day tasks and responsibilities we already have. So the less items you own, the less time and attention you have to give to each item, and this drastically reduces your mental load. 5. Choose the people around you. You probably heard the phrase, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And although I don't fully agree that you always become the person you hang out with, you are definitely influenced by them. And as social beings, we need to make a connection to other human beings. Although dealing with animals can be so much easier sometimes. That's why it's so important to find your tribe and friends that you cherish and cherish you back. In the same way, we should generally avoid negative people. And with this, I don't mean ignore a friend that needs help. I mean, stay away from people that don't want help and just want to drag you into their own vortex of negativity. But you should also avoid the positive, toxic people. Promoting too much positivity can become toxic when it guilts us from basic human emotions. While optimism can be helpful, suppressing or invalidating genuine feelings can be harmful for your mental well-being. Self-care involves accepting a full range of emotions and feelings rather than just denying or masking them. So allow yourself to laugh out loud or cry when you need to. 6. Let go of expectations. We are a sponge and we absorb everything. And in our hyper-connected world, it's so easy to get caught up in the expectations set by what we see. Whether it is the perfect body, the ideal home, the girl squad, the couple goals, the well-trained pet, or the picture-perfect lifestyle. By now, we already know that social media represents a curated collection of reality that makes us feel like we are not enough. But we also create expectations about ourselves and the people around us. We expect us to be good at our hobbies, otherwise it wouldn't be our hobbies. Our parents expected us to be good at school. Or when two people start dating, they usually show their best side. They're always in a good mood, they're always interested and always available. And it's so easy to assume that that perfect moment and that idea that we have of the other person is gonna last forever. And then when it doesn't, we get sad and we get mad that something changed, when in reality, the only thing that changed was the fantasy that we created about the other person. So how can we let go of the expectations? We can start by setting daily limits in our social media usage and try not to use it first thing in the morning and right before going to bed. Next step is choosing an extended time period where you don't look at screens at all. Have days with your partner where you talk about your week, goals and dreams. Go back to board games with friends, spend time in nature, do something creative and fun that involves your hands and brain. And the last step is remembering that no one is perfect, so you don't have to be either. And before jumping into the last tip, yes, that's right, there is an extra one. I want to know, what are the things that you usually do for self-care? Share it in the comment section so that everyone gets new ideas on how to make self-care happen for them. 7. And for the bonus one, let go of the all or nothing mentality. The all or nothing mindset is the belief that if you can't do something perfectly, it's just not worth doing at all. This happens a lot in fitness. You decide that today you're gonna push yourself hard and get the abs, the legs, or the arms. Then what happens? You get sore for 3 days without being able to put one foot in front of the other. And then you give up because you don't want to go through that pain again, obviously. Instead of doing this, do a bit every day or every other day and build up a system and a routine. Repeat after me. Self-care is not self-abuse. This also happens in parenthood. You feel that if you can't give your all the time, then you're not enough of a good parent and your children won't love you. Or if you don't get an A in the exam, it means that you're not smart. Or on that work presentation, if no one gives you positive feedback at the end, it's probably because everyone hated it and you will never be promoted. Doesn't it all sound a little bit unrealistic? We are and always will be a constant work in progress. And isn't that beautiful? Imagine a world full of perfect people where you would never learn anything from anyone. Where is the community? Where is the growth? Where is the accomplishment in that? Allow yourself to live in the middle and forget about the illusion of perfection because it doesn't exist. Done is better than perfect. A 50-minute walk is always going to be better than nothing. Cleaning a part of the kitchen is better than not cleaning at all. And finishing one chore is better than procrastinating the whole day. At the end of the day, self-care is about creating a mental and physical balance in your routine that nourishes you. It's okay to have goals in life and role models, but don't let that be the standard for yourself. You would never judge Einstein for not being able to run a marathon. Everyone is different and everyone has their own strengths. It's impossible to realistically compare yourself to others when you only see a small percentage of what they are. And now, as promised, I have something to help you build a good, healthy, and realistic system for self-care. I've created a free, simplified self-care template that you can download and print and use as a base for your own realistic self-care habits. That covers a healthy morning and night routine, a daily to-do list, and very important, a thankful list. And if you're interested in a more complete guide, I've created an online one called Complete Self-Care for Human Beings that you can have access to anytime, anywhere. This one, besides having all the features in the simplified version, also has dedicated pages full of ideas ideas on what to do if you're struggling either with physical or mental health, personal development, decluttering, digital detox, social connections, work-life balance, and even finance. It also includes a journal guide and space, mantras, early goals guide, and also a collection of meditations, podcast playlists, and video suggestions that I found to be very helpful. Remember that you don't need fancy things and actions to change your mental well-being and therefore your life. It's the realistic small changes that will have a big impact. I hope you found these tips helpful and maybe you will start implementing some of them in your life, and of course, leave behind the one that don't. And before you go, here's a friendly reminder to give Aura app a try and get a free trial plus an exclusive 25% off by going to aurahealth.io/beaminimalista. Until next time, remember to stay kind to yourself and to others, and I'm wishing you a great night of stress-free sleep. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye!